G'day, it's Matthew Doyle here, the World Changers coach and founder of the Your NDIS business service. You know, as a business and leadership coach, I'm working regularly with NDIS service providers, both bigger providers and small sole trader providers. I'm working with people who work in the disability space as their entire business. The NDIS might be their entire business. Others, the NDIS or providing services to NDIS participants is just a part of what they do. And I'm working with people across the length and breadth of those scenarios. And in doing that, I wanted to share in this video one of the key things that I won't accept when I hear it from a client when we're discussing things around their particular business. And that one thing I won't accept from a client is to tell me it's not about the money. Why won't I accept a client telling me it's not about the money, despite the fact that they're in a business that's all out there to serve people and make lives better? There's a really short reality to that. The reason I won't accept a client telling me that it's not about the money is because normally when I hear that statement, it's a cop-out from a client who just doesn't want to do what it takes to run their business the right way. And then they can't understand why their business is not working properly. Now, that's a pretty harsh reality. It's a pretty harsh way to put things, but unfortunately that's how it is. Like, I know when I sit down with somebody who's an NDIS service provider, I know that they're not doing what they do to make millions of dollars and live in fancy houses or fly around the world in private jets, okay? I know that I'm dealing with somebody who is passionate about helping people, who's passionate about making lives better. But here's the reality about being in any business whatsoever. There is a certain point that your business has to get to be viable. And then there's a certain point beyond that the business has to get to if it's going to create the level of margin or the level of profit that you want to just live out of the benefits of the lifestyle or out of the business that you run, the benefits of your hard work. Now, that doesn't have to be huge sums of money. But the reality is, if you can't run a viable business and you can't meet the financial targets to make ends meet and to pay the bills, you're not going to be able to help anybody, because eventually you're not going to have a business at all. And so when I sit down with a client and we're trying to work these things out, whether it's doing some marketing to get more clients into their business, whether it's looking at how they effectively manage and lead their teams better so that their teams are more engaged, they're more enthusiastic, they're delivering on the vision, and they're more productive, this can all be traced back to questions of the money in the business. And so we get this conversation comes up about how I'm not in it to make money. But I already know that. I'm trying to deal with the realities of, if we don't deal with these issues, the business is going to go bankrupt. And so for you, if you've ever found yourself using that statement, it's not about the money, did you use that statement to avoid doing some marketing to get new clients? Did you do it to avoid having discussions about the pricing or fair pricing for your services? Did you do it because you just flat out, it makes you uncomfortable to talk about money when you're in what is a service business about making lives better? It's an unfortunate reality that the money matters. And so I won't accept a client telling me that it's not about the money when you're using that as an excuse. If I sat down with you and said, let's 10x your business, to use one of the buzzwords that we see around today, and let's make as much money as we possibly can, then I think you're well positioned to say, remember, this is not about the money, this is about helping people. But when we're not in it to make money comes out as an excuse for we're not going to do marketing that's going to help us actually get enough clients just to make ends meet, or we're not going to use it so that we can actually make our business more efficient, that's actually going to help us to deliver our services better, then I won't cop that excuse. I said in the last video, if you've seen it, if you haven't, I recommend you go back and watch it, how there are only two things you really need to do in your business, and everything else that just sort of is peripheral to that. And that's the case that you have to market and sell your service, and then you have to deliver your service. In the next video, I'm going to talk about two numbers that are absolutely critical to know in your NDIS business if you're going to survive for the long term. And this is what it comes down to. If you can't make enough money to pay the bills, and then you can decide on what a successful profit target means to you. If it's just break even, cool. But if you want to make $10,000 a year so you can take your family away on a nice holiday, that might be success to you. From person to person, that success is going to look different. But the viability is the same for every business. If you can't make enough money to be viable, eventually you're going to go to the wall, at which point you're not going to be able to help anybody. And that is why the money actually matters to your business despite the fact that your drive isn't for money, it's to help people change their lives. And that's why I won't accept it's not about money. Because usually when I hear it, it's a cop-out to avoid facing doing what we have to do to be viable and even to make just the small amount of profit that we need to be deemed successful. I hope that's helped somebody. I actually hope it's challenged you a little bit if you've ever used that term in your business. I'd love to hear from you in the comments below, your thoughts about this particular topic. Otherwise, I can't wait to see you on our next video. Keep on changing the world.